Okay, Shabbat Shalom, say. Let's start with the first pasuk in the parsha. Atama Sarah. Atama Sarah b'Kiryas Arba hi Hebron. So what does Kiryas Arba mean? So says Rashi, Al Shem Arba Anakim Sheyusham. 4 giants that resided there. Achiman, Shishai, V'Talmai, V'Aviam. Where are they mentioned? Achimai, where are they mentioned? These 4? In Pasha Shlach. Okay. Chumash, one second. No, where else in Chumash? Okay, and also Yeshua. Fine. Dovar Acher, Hashem Arba Zugot Shenikboru Sham. Ish ve'ishtoi, Adam, meaning Ish ve'ishtoi, Adam v'Chava, Abram v'Sarah, Yitzchak v'Rivka, Yaakov v'Leah. Right? So the 4 couples. Why did Rashi have to bring another pshat? The first pshat, any problem with it? So let's see what the Maral says, what you have in front of you on page 1. Where the arrow is. V'koshe. The lama הוא צריך לכתוב כאן קריית ארבע. ולא כתב כן למעלה. כתב שם עוד לחוד ואין שם אחר עמו. Meaning, the Churi is referring to the pasuk that says in footnote 52, וישב באלוני ממרא אשר בחברון. Why do you have to say Kiryat Arba? Why does the Bechal need to mention it? Why can't you just say Vatama Sarah Hebron? What's the problem? V'yere lomar שהכוסף, our pasuk, מגיד על שם חשיבות המקום ומעלתו ששם מתה שרה, שהיו בה דלת ענקים, ולפי עניין ומדרגת הארץ היא מגדלת אנשים. There's a correlation between the land and its people that it megadel. How do you say megadel? Legadel anashim. To raise them. Okay? It's a Rashi in by the Ragam. יש מקום מגדל את גיבורים. ולפי כך מה שהיו שם דל דנקים, מפני שהארץ ההיא גורמת. It shows something about the land. ובוודאי מעלת המקום באוילם הזה, that produces 4 giants, מעיד על מעלת המקום שהוא כנגדו באוילם הבא. וכמו שהמקום בעולם הזה היה מיוחד ל4 ענקים, שהם גיבורים בכוח הגוף, כך המקום המיוחד לאחר מיסה, לדעת אנשים גיבורים במעשיהם בנשמה. It's a very unique place. In Olam Hazeh, it produces, I guess that's Megadel, Giborim, that are blessed with Koach HaGuf. And also, for those, after they die, they're going to go to Olam Haba, that's how I called it before, because of their great neshamas. והם דלת זוגות שנקברו שם. ולפיכך פירש אחריו, דבר אחר על שם דלת זוגות. Meaning, it's coming to say that this place is a very unique place. It's blessed and a gifted place to Olam Hazadik and Olam Habadik. And those are the 2 Pirushim of Rashi. The Arba Anakim shows that it has the mile of Olam Hazeh, and the Arba Zukas show those are people that after they were buried, the Neshamas are in Olam Haba or wherever that world is. So it's miyuchad, right? Now the question is, it's coming to say, that's where Sarah died. Magid al Shem Chashivut HaMakom HaMato Shesham Meta Sarah. But once you die, does it make a difference if you're in a place which is Olam Hazadik or Olam Habadik? I mean, if you're still alive and you go to a place of Olam Hazadik, you'll be blessed with wealth, physical strength. Fine. Olam Habadik, if you'll go to a place over there, you'll do a lot of mitzvahs, Torah and mitzvahs, and you'll grow and go, and again, you'll be a mizbarech. Fine. But she already died. She's being buried there. Maza Ozer, what does it give her to have a place that's blessed, Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba?
Olam Haba, you can understand. That's why
one
wants to be buried, wants her to be buried there. So it's a legacy.
Again, I don't see how. A legacy of what?
A legacy of Olam Haba, of your God.
Again, she already died. Whatever's Olam Haba she has, she's not going to get more now. I mean, when you're alive, I understand. But if you're not alive, mechateza. But it's pushed to be, I think, what the moral means. L'cha'ura, fafalon. Once a person died, fafalon. Nigmar hasipur. In Olam Hazeh and in Olam Haba. I mean, whatever is waiting for him in Olam Haba is waiting. He's not going to steig anymore in the kever. Right? And I'm going to say, as we know, what does the Maral say about Maral Samfela? That's where the, meaning this is the most suitable place for Tchias HaMesim. That's what Maral is coming to say. Tchias HaMesim is a hybrid of Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba. I'm sorry?
I think this is your question about the Makkah.
Yeah, what's the Makor?
It's from him.
No. No, the Maral says, V'kach darshu chazal b'medrash. V'kach darshu chazal b'medrash, that we didn't find yet. He's quoting a medrash. But anyway, I'll call upon him, what say. The Nakuda is that he's coming to say that there's a place which is Gevaldik for Olam Hazeh and Gevaldik for Olam Haba, and what nafkamina does it make for someone who was already died? Tchias HaMesim. Tchias HaMesim is where the Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba meet. That's written Meferish. It does with the goof, so the goof is Olam Hazeh, and it's the coming with the neshama and Bekitzer. That's, and especially since the Maral says that that's what Tchias HaMesim is going to happen. Ki kol HaMesim atidim la'amod mitoch HaMayra k'mo shedorshu razal b'medrash. That's the lashon over there. So that's what it means here, that it's a great place for Tchias HaMesim. Okay. That's Nukuda number one. That was just the Hagdama. We're going through the meal. So that was for the gefilte fish. But now comes the soup and the main course. Right? So let's give a look. The truth is here you don't even need the chumash, you have it on your sheet. What does it say? Va'Avraham zaken ba b'yomim va'Hashem berach es Avram b'kol. That's what it says. This is an introduction to the parsha that will follow. The Shidduch of Yitzchak. How is this an introduction? So look at Rashi. Pasuk Aleph. We have it also on our sheet, on sheet number 2. Berach es Avram b'kol. Bakol, the word bakol, ole, the gematria, ben. It's 52. Bakol is 52, and ben is 52. U'me'achar shaya lo ben, haya tzarich lasio isha. He has a son, and once he has a son, he has to find her a shidduch. Find him a shidduch. What's the obvious question to ask? What we say? Why does it say ben? Why are you speaking to me in riddles? Gematrias. Bakol is Gematria Ben, and he has a son, he has to find a shidduch.
We already know that, it's obvious.
So it's also, everything's obvious.
No, if you say Ben, there's no need to say. If you want to say Bakol, then obviously you're coming to say something else.
What? I'm just coming to say, Hatzach Lasio Isha, look what it says. Umachal Shaya Lo Ben, Hatzach Lasio Isha. So, you know what, let's see what the Maral says.
Yitzchak was 37 or 40 then.
Right, it was 40 years old.
Wouldn't be a chiddush to say, "V'avom zokim hayomim, Hashem yachas avom v'ben im ben." That was 37 years ago.
Manaso, but now he's looking for a shidduch. What can you do? Now's the time, he's looking for a shidduch. Let's give a look at the Maral. But I hear what you're saying, Rabbi Say. Aleph, b'kimatria ben, d'im lo ke'mayin yeno lekan sha'kodesh Baruch Hu berech Avraham b'kol. Meaning, why is it mentioned here that Kodesh Baruch Hu mentioned him b'kol? What does it nogea to here? That Avraham Avinu was blessed with everything. You know when we say bakol mikol kol? This is the pasuk bakol, right? What's the chiddush? Obviously, it has to do with this parsha. V'ha de lo kosa ben beferish. Why isn't written ben explicitly? Mipnei she'aben hu nichshav kol. It's through the son you get everything. She'ad shelo haya lo ben, until he didn't have a son, lo haya nichshav lo klum kol habrachos shebecha. All the brachos are meaningless. Mipnei she'amar Avraham Hashem Elokim ma titen li u'v'meshek biti yoresh oti. Right? You remember over there what we said? Maybe we could give a look at the chumash that we have here. The following pasuk brings it out even more. Let's give a look in practice Vav on the psukim we're recording here. Beis Gimel Dalid. Right, in practice Vav. What does it say in practice Vav? Pasuk Beis, Vayomer Avraham Hashem Elokim ma titen li v'anochi olech hariri uve'beshek beisi u'damesek Eliezer. Pasuk Gimel. Vayomer Avraham, hen lo natati li zera v'hin ben beis mi yoresh yosi. and Pasuk Dalet. Right? No, I'm sorry. So let's look at the Rashi in Pasuk Gimel. Hello natati li zera, umat to'elet b'kol asher titen li. What is it with? What are you going to give to me if I don't have a hemshech? And then the next pasuk is, "Vayom einei dvar Hashem elav le'emor lo yirashcha zeh ki im asher yitzeh mimecha hu yirishacha." It's not going to be him, but someone who comes from you. So the Maral is quoting these psukim to show what? Without a son, the brachas aren't chal. They're not chashuv. בני שאמר אברהם והשם אלוקים מה תיתנו ומש ביוסדי, אבל עכשיו היה לו בן. היו כל הברוכס שלו ברוכס ולא קודם לכך. הוא לקח כוסה והשם מלך את אברהם בכל על ידי שנתן לו בן. We want to bring out that through this ben, all the brachas are chal. That's the point we want to say. So what's the obvious question they ask? Give a look at footnote 1. דברי הגורל יתרונים ביר. דהתנח שאין ברכה בלי בן. Yes, there's no bracha without a son. אך יש בן, on page 3, footnote 1. On page 3, footnote 1. Footnote 1. Footnote, what do you hear? Page 3. דברי הגורל יתרונים ביר. דהתנח, it should have been 2 words. The hat tenach she'en bracha b'li ben. Ach yesh ben b'li bracha. וכאן אנו דנים אותו שיש לאברהם בן שחייב להשיאו אישה. בזה שהידי בן זה חלות הברכות, לכאורה אינו מענייננו כאן. ועדיין יקשה מדוע לא הוזכר בן בלבד. Here what you want to say is he has a son, he has to find a shidduch. That's what you're saying here. By the way, you know, through this son all the brachas are chal. And without this son, the brachas are not chal. Nachon? Right. But why do I have to say here that the brachas are chal through him if I want to bring out that he has to bring off a son?
The brachas need to have continuity.
Meaning, so let's just bring out the question though. Meaning, when it rains, that means there's clouds. But if it's clouds, it's not always raining. Meaning, so to have brachas, you have to have a ben. But you can have a ben without brachas. Most people have children without a bracha given before Makadosh Baruch Hu. And most people have to find a shidduch for their children. At Kamash Nogea to our Pasha, why is there a need to bring out that through this son all the brachas are chal? And Moshe Chaim says something we'll come to in a minute. Let's call that question number 1. Question number 2 I would like to ask. The Mahal's bringing a raya from the pasuk that was in Bris Ben Absarim. The Avraham says, I don't have any children. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, don't worry, the one that will come in me'echa from your inside, he's going to marry. He has now Yishmael. Then in Bris Ben Absarim he didn't have anybody. He didn't have any biological children. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him, Lo yirashcha zeh, ki im asher yitzeh me'echa. Asher yitzeh me'echa is also Yishmael. Right?
He wasn't married to Hagar at the time.
I'm sorry?
He wasn't married to Hagar at the time.
Okay, at that time he didn't have anybody.
He was married to Yisrael. So the marriage was from him and Sarah.
Again, but he's telling Asher Yitzim Me'echa, and Sarah's going to complain afterwards. Why didn't you mention me? This is focusing on Abraham. Sarah's not mentioned here, right? Sarah complained about it. We learned that I think a week or 2 ago. So Rabbi said the point being is, what's the tzush to what Abraham Avinu said then? You want to, meaning through Yitzchak, without Yitzchak the brachas on Chal. Maybe it's through Ishmael. True, but you can't bring a raya for Bris Ben Absarim. You want to bring a raya for Bris Ben Absarim that without a ben the brachas aren't worth anything. So therefore, through this son the brachas are chal. You don't have a raya from there. Elamai, you want to bring the pasuk kibitzik kol chazara? Fine, so bring a pasuk. But the Mahal's quoting a different pasuk. That's question number 2. Right? So question number 1 is, let's put on number 1. Question number 2 is what? Maybe it's Ishmael. And question number 3, I had question number 3, 1 second. Here's my best question. Question number 3, the Mishnah says in Kedushin that a father has to marry off his son. Ha'av chayv b'bnoi lemuloi v'livdoiso u'lasio isha. Ask the Gemara Minala, where do you know that a father has to marry off his son? Answers the Gemara, it's a pasuk in Yirmiyahu. Why did you bring it right from Avram and Yitzchak? Avram was very... Look at the Lashon of Rashi here that we have on page 2. Back to page 2. Shaya lo ben, u'machar shaya lo ben haya tzarich la'asio isha. So here you see that a father takes care of his son marrying him off. I got him a farish pasuk and Chumash. So why is the Gemara bring a pasuk from Yirmiyahu? Maybe the pasuk from Yirmiyahu is a little bit clearer. It says K'chu lechem nashim. It's more a tzivui. But you see, Avraham Avinu was engaged in finding a shidduch for his son. Doesn't that show that a father has to take care of the shidduchim of his son? What do you say? So how come the Gemara doesn't quote this parsha? It's a Gemara in Kiddushin that Lamed Amud Beis. Okay, you don't need the Gemara. Yeah, we know it. Yeah, I'll read to you. Yeah, the Gemara. Here's the Mishnah is Daf Kaftes Amud Aleph, and the Gemara is from that Lamed Amud Beis. I'll read the Lashon Gemara. Here. The Gemara says, Lasio Isha. Minalan. The Chsiv, it says Tetzain. Tetzain is a pasuk in Yirmiyahu. Kaftet Perek K'chu nashim v'olidu banim u'banot v'chulu v'nechem nashim. Yes, it's psukim. What's bad with this pasuk? And especially according to Lashon Rashi, now that he has a son, Atzrich Lasio Isha. It shows there's a chiyuv. How can the Gemara doesn't bring this pasuk? Not only this pasuk, this whole parsha that he took Eliezer and he commanded him what to do. Find a shidduch for my son. It shows he took it upon himself to find a shidduch for Yitzchak. Isn't that a good source? So how come the Gemara in Kiddush doesn't bring this parsha? Rather, the pasuk in Riyal in Kiddush of Lamed Beis. I looked around to see if anybody asks it in Kiddush, and I couldn't find anybody that had you asking it. I looked on the Mitzvah Chachma, I couldn't find anyone that asked it. But L'chor, it's a big kasha. I'm sorry?
Avram was just doing it, Charles.
No, we learn from every Meister of Avram Avinu. We learn all kinds of halachas. Vayashkem Avram Abayker, that means we have to be back to the mitzvahs. Whatever he did, we learn from.
Yeah, but not that it's a chiyuv.
It's a chiyuv.
Yeah, not him.
That's Zrizas Magdimim, it's a chiyuv.
Sorry?
Zrizas Magdimim, we learn from Avram. There's tons of halachas that we learn from Avram. I'm sorry? What? But the Gemara learns from him. Okay, but kids, the Gemara elsewhere learns from all kinds of things said about Avram, all kinds of halachas. How come we don't learn here that you have to marry off your son? That's the kasha. Okay, Rabbi say. So there's really something very gishmak here. Rabbi said, let's give a look again. With the first thing that Avraham Avinu tells, and we have it also in our pasuk, on sheet number 2. Vayom Avraham al avdos kam b'tov ha'moshe b'chol ha'shalo, simna yadcha tachas yerechi. And then comes pasuk Gimel. Vashbiacha ba'Hashem elokei ha'shamayim elokei ha'aretz, asher lo tikach isha libni mipnot ha'kna'ani, asher anochi yoshev b'kirbo. Do not take any Kna'aniyot. It says in the Mefarshim, because they have bet midas, whatever, don't take Kna'aniyot. And then we're going to see later on, let's give a look at what I say. In Perek of Daled, Pasuk, when Eliezer is repeating the conversation to Besuel, here. Look at Pasuk Lamates. Perek of Dalet, Pasuk Lamates. Va'omar el Adoni, Ulai lo yiseh lecha ish acharai. And you see the way it's written, Ulai without a vav? So what does Rashi say? Elaiksi. Bat הייתה לו אליעזר והיה מחזר למצוא עילה שיאמר לאברהם לפנות אליו להשיאו ביתו. He was trying to get his daughter into it. But once Avram Avinu, the pasuk was Ulai Elai. It's written right after he said, "Don't think anybody from Nisran." So why does Eliezer think he has a chance? He's Canaan.
Proximity to Avraham.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Proximity to Avraham.
Yeah, but he said, "I don't want anybody from Nisran."
He thinks it's like he's sort of left that behind.
And it says, "Hashanoch Yeshem B'Kirboy," like because I'm close to them. He says, "Ki em artzi ve'el modati telech," right? That's what it says. So once Canaan's disqualified, why does Eliezer think he's better? Maybe proximity to Avraham.
Here it says Yeshiva Ba'arzai.
What?
Here it says Yeshiva Ba'arzai when he repeats it.
And so means
It's
it's.
different from the Kirboy.
Oh, he says Artz a Kirboy.
I said Kirboy means when he's taken back. I said it means not me because I'm not.
But he said the Kirboy. I'll leave with them. That's what he said in that line. He said it like that. Why did he change it? I don't know. Good point. But everybody say, so let's ask another question. Why does Eliezer think he has a chance after his nation was disqualified? But let's go on. What did Avraham Avinu answer? Amalu Avraham, B'ni Baruch, Ata Arur, Ve'ein Arur Medabek B'Baruch. Everybody say, I still don't understand. Avraham Avinu Ish HaChesed. Is that how you speak to your Eved, who's Doyle Umashke? Really? And it says he was Mamash Tzaddik. He's called domestic because Doyle Umashke. And his Ziv Ikunin, he looked like Abraham. You remember that? Does Rashi bring that? Baruch? That he looked like Abraham? I think it's Chazal.
Yeah.
Ziv Ikunin, it's not a Rashi, right? Okay, let's see, it says, where's the first time Eliezer is introduced? Per Gidal, right? In the Milchama. Vayarik Chanav. Oh, there Eliezer is not mentioned. Oh, you're right. Only in Pasuk Gazal. Right. So he says, "But Meshach Beit the Meshach Eliezer." Right.
This is Doyle Mashke, Doyle Mashke.
I'm sorry.
Rashi says that the message is Doyle Mashke.
Doyle Mashke. Chazal say Ziv Ukinim. What's the pshat? I'm serious. After everything's been said and done, then Abram tells Eliezer such harsh words. B'ni Baruch, V'ata Oror, Ve'ein Oror Medabek V'Baruch. I mean, is there a nice way to get out of it?
Yeah, as long as in some days don't beat around the bush, you got to get a message across.
Okay. Ve'ein Oror Medabek V'Baruch. Okay, if we don't have a better answer to explain what's going on over here, but I think we may have.
Explain to nothing in a very straightforward way.
Okay, so we have to understand why. Especially Avraham Avinu, who's the chesed and so sensitive about people's feelings, he tells them, "You're our b'nei baruch, ve'ein or medabek baruch." You can't find like another reason why. You said, "I want someone for my family." I don't know. You have to say it like this. Dugri. You know what dugri means in Israel? To the point, but it means in your face, right? Nachon? What? Al panim. It's known that once I heard from Moshe Shapiro Zatzal. He said once a mitnachel, there's like Noah Gvaot, big beard, payas, big kippah suga, came to the stipler. So it's going back almost 40 years ago. שהרב יגיד לי דוגרי. יש לרב רוח הקודש? כן או לא? That's what he asked the stipler. שהרב יגיד לי דוגרי. יש לרב רוח הקודש? כן או לא? So the stipler asked, מה זה דוגרי? So he answered, בפנים. In my face. בפרצוף. תגיד לי בפנים. So he told him, תלך מפה, אם לא אני אתן לך סתירה בדוגרי. בפנים means דוגרי, אני אתן לך סתירה בדוגרי. This I heard from Moshe Shapiro. Dugri doesn't mean face. It means in your presence. I'll say it to him in his presence. That's what it means, dugri. Did you ever hear the word dugri? Yuda. It's a slang. I think it's an Arab word. Wamalo dugri. What was the translation you said before, Hashem? For dugri? To the point is more, but like a little bit rude. In your face. That's the expression. And so it is bapanim. In your face. But it means to the point also, right? So anyway, I'll go put it.
Avraham Avinu is teaching us the lesson of shidduchim. If sometimes the ship doesn't work out, you give it like a roundabout reason.
You should go straight.
Go straight.
but to insult?
Well, how good for that's a binyanan. If Abraham could do it, then he
Yeah, but what's the shot? What's the shot that Abraham could do it? So-
When it comes to shidduch, you've got to be.
You got to be clear. I understand, but okay. Obviously, if you're happy with it, fine.
This is the bracha we were talking about.
Hashem's connecting the points in. Obviously, listen, Chavah, what's happening here? So we have our three. We have how many questions do we have? I think 4. Question number 1 is yes, there's no bracha without a ben, like the Mal explained, but we're dealing with the ben element that he wants to find a shidduch for his son. So why do you have to bring out the point that through this son the bracha is chal? And it's irrelevant. That's question number 1. Question number 2, you're making it sushtel to what happened to Bris Ben Absarim, but meanwhile Avraham Avinu did have a son Mime'av, which is Ishmael. So maybe things change already. Who knows? Question number 3, which I think is the strongest question. The Gemara in Kiddushin, Daf Lamadam Beis. Where do you know that a father has to marry off his son? A pasuk in Riyah. This parsha. And question number 4, which is not such a strong question. I see the way the Om feels. It's a question, but not such a strong one, which is that you talk to someone that you're really close to, and you really learn with them. And it says also that Sholet B'Yitzra, he overcame his Yetzirah like Avraham Avinu did. Like he's a Gabra Rabbah.
He's still a servant there.
Yeah, he's still a slave, 100%. Is there any way to a little bit explain what's happening or not? If not, so we'll have to say the answers that the Olam is saying here. Usher Chaim said before that really what Avraham Avinu is now looking for a shidduch for Yitzchak is not because the conventional din that a father has to marry off his son. That's not what it means. That's not the reason why Avraham Avinu is behaving the way he's behaving that way. The reason that Avraham Avinu here is looking for a son is, I got a bracha, and a bracha requires a recipient. And just like he felt when he didn't have a continuity, the bracha is not worth anything. My son Yitzchak doesn't have a continuity. Meaning it has to be continued. And therefore I gotta find a shidduch, not like it's true also, like every father has to find a shidduch for his son. Emes. But that's not what Avraham Avinu is doing here. Avraham Avinu is looking here for a shidduch because he wants the kiyum of Bakoil. The brachas of the Am Yisrael, of the Hashem Berechas Abraham Bakol. What's going to be with those brachas if Yitzchak doesn't get remarried? Doesn't get married? Naikle. I'm learning from Bris Ben Absarim this Nakuda that if there's no continuity, there's no that's not chal. Now, what's the nafkamina if you're looking for a son mitzad a father's role or mitzad Bakol role? We'll see in a minute. But meanwhile, I just wanted to start answering the questions. For sure, the Gemara in Kiddush is not going to quote these psukim, because here Avraham Avinu is not functioning as father. He's functioning as a recipient of a bracha, and he wants to make sure that the bracha should keep on. That's nogea to very few people in the world. It's not nogea to every son, to every father in the world, obviously. It's not. So the Gemara is not going to quote this pasuk. How come Yishmael can't be the one? So here's really what Rabbi Shlomo said before. Meaning, I'm learning from Bris Ben Absarim that you need a continuity. And once already has been decided, Ki B'Yitzchak El Chazera. Where does it say Ki B'Yitzchak El Chazera? Remember what we said? We have Balikor here? No. Vayera. When he was kicked out. Ani Rabbi Necha, what Sarah said, Ki B'Yitzchak El Chazera. Right? And the Gemara said, Yitzchak v'lo Yishmael. For the continuity of this bracha, Yishmael is not part of it. There's a name for this bracha.
It's Kafal base.
Kafal base. Now there's a name for this bracha that we're talking about. It's called Birkas Abraham. Where does it say the first time Birkas Abraham? In this, in the end of Toldus. Give a look at Toldus when Yitzchak said goodbye to Yaakov. And Perek Kavches, Pasuk Dalet, and Perek Kavches, Pasuk Dalet, what does it say? V'yitel ches because Avraham. L'chalu zaracha itach. So you know what the Rambam says? What do you say? Who knows? What does the Rambam learn from this because Avraham, from this Pasuk? Testing Rambam, testing Rambam. Okay, let me find it quickly. Yeah. I told you that the Abnei Nezer, who was Godel Hador Mamish, a Rebbe, and Godel Hador, not but Godel Hador, and Godel Hador. Okay? Abnei Nezer was a great oil. When he was like in his 50s, he met the Brisker Rav who was 20. Work out the years. That's more or less what it was. He was still a Bach, the Brisker Rav. And he spoke to him and learning for like 2-3 hours. The Abnei Nezer, the Goyen of Galicia, with the Brisker Rav. And after he finished, he said, Zeh weiß Rambam besser von uns. They know Rambam better than us. And I read in the book, it's brought down that Mamish all Eastern Europe was mishtoimim for such a statement. The Abnei Nezer said on a 20-year-old, Zeh weiß Rambam besser von uns? Mamis. Okay, he helped what the Briskers have. Rabbi say, how do we know that it's Yaakov and not Esav? How do we know? It says Ki b'Yitzchak or Chazel. Okay, Yitzchak, but which one, Yaakov or Esav? So the Gemara says b'Yitzchak v'lo kol Yitzchak. Be Yitzchak means a part of Yitzchak v'lo kol Yitzchak. Right?
Still doesn't answer it.
Huh?
Still doesn't answer it. How do you know which one?
Oh, but how you know which one? Let me share what the Rambam says. The Rambam in Hilchos Malachim, Perek Yud Halacha Zayin says, Hamila nitztava ba'avram b'zari. Yatsa zaru shishmon. Shenemar ki b'Yitzchak el chazera. V'yatsa Esav, shari Yitzchak omar liYaakov, v'yitel ches brikas Avram. Lecha lezarecha. B'chnal shehu levado, zaro shel Avram. המחזיק בדתו ודרכו הישרה, והם המחויבים במילה. The whole world asks on the Rambam, they want to learn that from Ki b'Yitzchak v'lo kol Yitzchak. Answers Reb Chaim Brisker, what is Chaim saying? B'Yitzchak v'lo kol Yitzchak says one of them, but which one? I don't know. Comes the pasuk Birkas Avram and says it's Yaakov. That's what Reb Chaim Brisker says on this Rambam. Okay? The Rambam is again Hilchos Malachim Perek Yud Halacha Zayin. Birkas Avram is the continuity of the bracha of Avram. What Avram Avinu was doing here is, I have to make sure that this bracha will keep on. Obviously, that will answer question number one as well. What was question number one? What's enough Gemina? Why he's looking? You need a son, you need a shonach. Nine. Why nine? Rabbi Shlomo, that what? He's looking for someone, for a recipient for the bracha, and not Alt's father. Now, we're going to say that this bracha is something that is supposed to be given on from Dor Chaldol, like Yitzchak gave over to Yaakov because Abraham. I'll prove it to you, Rabbi say. Give a look a second in the end of that Kedah. In Perek Beis, Pasuk Yizayim.
Is there any Masorah that suggests that Bakal meant that he had a daughter?
Yeah, it's Gemara Basra. A few shit is Chazal.
This is counter to this narrative.
Yeah, there's like 6 brushes on the word Bakal.
Okay.
Okay? Give a look in Perek Beis, Pasuk Yizayim. Ki vorech avarechecha v'arbe etzarecha. A bracha. And it says double lashon. Ki vorech avarecha v'arbe. What does Rashi say in Pasuk Yizayim? Ki vorech avarecha achas la'av v'achas leben. V'arbe achas la'av v'achas leben. Who's the Av and Ben? Yitzchak, Avram and Yitzchak. So why does it say Avram and Yitzchak? Why is Rashi waxing poetry? How do you say it in English? That's it. Waxing? Waxing poetic? What? Waxing lyricals. Achas la'av v'achas leben. Say Avram, Achad Avram, Achad Yitzchak. I know Avram and Yitzchak is Av and Ben. It's like a shmak yadik in Rashi. It's Lashon Chazal. Why are you going to... Whenever Rashi doesn't call someone by his name, there's a reason for it. The classical example, Moshe, when he calls him Ben Amram. Achas la'av, achas leben. Again, in our poetry, we do that a lot. The father and son went for a brisk walk with the brilliant weather, and there was a beautiful breeze. Okay. But the Torah doesn't talk about that. Chazal. You know, what do you think the answer is why it says Achas La'av, Achas Laben? It's going to go on now. The next generation will be that Yitzchak's the father and Yaakov will be the son. And then later, and it will be still today. Us and our children. Or our parents and us. I have a raya gedola to it. That this is a rolling bracha. You know the Rolling Stones? A rolling bracha. From dor achar dor. I'll bring you a raya. Give a look. There's someone that's quoting this bracha. In the beginning of Pashas Vayishlach. What does it say? Perek Lamed Beis Pasuk Yud Gimel. What does it say? ואתה אמרת היטב היטיב עמך ושמתי אצלך ככל הים אשר לא יספר מרוב. Says Rashi, ואתה אמרת היטב, what does it say? He's quoting a pasuk ככל הים. Yaakov never got ככל הים. Look what Rashi says there on the spot. Okay, pasuk Yud Gimel. היטיב, היטיב, היטיב בסודך, היטיב בסוס אבותיך, ושמתי אצלך ככל ים. ואיך אמר לו כן? הלא לא אמר לו אלא ויעש לך כף הארץ, אלא שאמר לו כי לא יוצא את אשר עשיתי אשר דיברתי לך. ולאברהם אמר, הרבה אצלך ככל השמיים ואשר עשו ים. Yeah, but that was referring to Avraham and Yitzchak. Why are you quoting it? And he's using the same double lashon. היטיב בסודך, היטיב בסוס אבותיך. He mentions himself first, then the other second. Fine. I guess when a person mentions himself, he first mentions himself. Yaakov Avinu, that wasn't even born at the time of the Akedah, is mourning HaKadosh Baruch Hu because of the Haftocha of the Akedah. And he's quoting this double lashon. Elamai, so what do you see? That's a moving target. Right? The bracha of is going to go on. Midor achar dor. That's what Rashi meant. Achas la'av, achas laben. Achas la'av, achas laben means it's going to be to all fathers and all sons, and the son of yesterday is the father of tomorrow. Kach hazeh yelech. That's what it means. But boy, say what's enough kamina then? If Avraham Avinu is looking for a shirach als tate or als bracha bakol, what's enough kamina? He's looking for a shirach. My enough kamina if it's this or that. Here comes the enough kamina. If someone's a or, then he's a top guy. A tzaddik, a tzaddik nifla. Ziv ikunim domel Abraham. Moshe be Yitzroy like Avraham Avinu. His Chazal praise him like no one's business. So if I'm looking for him as a father, listen, I see he's a tzaddik. I don't want the Canaanim because they have bad midas. But Eliezer is a tzaddik. And therefore Eliezer says, I still have a chance. You know me. And Baruch Hashem, maybe I was born the way I was born. I'm with you so many years. Baruch Hashem, something rubbed off. Tells him Avraham Avinu not to say, I'm better than you, I'm superior to you, you're inferior. I'm looking for the kiyum of bracha. And the antithesis of bracha is over. You can't have opposites together. Meaning the simple understanding is he's saying, I'm blue, how's it called, blue blood? How's it called, like I'm the royalty and you're stomach garnished. That's how it comes out. I'm sorry, how's it called? True? Blue blood. The simple reading what Avraham Avinu was telling him is, we're not equals. I'm choshev, you're not. That sounds kind of harsh that Avraham Avinu should speak like that. I mean, he look how he respected the Arabs that they kept to visit him. I mean, Avraham Avinu is a sensitive individual. But what he's coming to say, it comes across harsh probably still, but a little bit the context. I'm looking for a shirach out the kiyum of Baruch. And Baruch, you can't have, what's Loshe L'Maral in many places? You can't have hafachim b'nosei echad. You can't have opposites which are together. And since I'm looking for the kiyum of the bruch, of the shirach out kiyum of Baruch, and you're an Or, it just doesn't go. You can't have a dvekis between the two. Other things I'm sure Avraham Avinu is more than happy to do with Eliezer. Why not? He knows he's a tzaddik. He knows doilo umashke. He right? He took him to the Akedah, but when he saw they didn't see the cloud, so he said, stay here. Like, He didn't. I don't think Avraham Avinu did not treat Eliezer in Dubas Tagonisht. He didn't treat him that way. But what he's telling them over here is, I'm not still looking for a shidduch. If that would have been my cheshbon, you would have been a beautiful candidate. Your daughter. You would have. I'm looking here for a shidduch mitzad the din of what? Of Baruch. Baruch Khan. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a shidduch mitzad the kiyum of bracha. Here it fits to say your nation was cursed. A bracha and or cannot go hand in hand. It's not stam I'm looking for a shidduch. I'm looking for a bracha dik a shidduch. Mimele, a little bit to soften a little bit the blow what Avraham Avinu is saying. He's not just saying, who are you? For a shidduch purpose, then I'm looking for, you are unfortunately disqualified. Meaning, dveikus, the shidduch here. Stam say we can be best friends. Like how the whole anti-Semites say? My best friends are Jews. We could be best friends, but not for this shidduch. That's what's going on over here. Right. I'm sorry? Yeah. Yeah, Or Knan. That's what it says, Or Knan.
They come from here. They came from what? They came from who?
Knan.
From which Makor?
The Cham.
Oh, Cham.
The son of Cham. Okay, Rabbi said. Okay. Okay, so that's for the main course. Maybe still has to be polished a little bit more and defined a little bit more, but that's the Nakuda here. Here, he's looking for a shidduch out the kiyum of Bakol. There has to be a continuity. If there's no continuity, the bracha will fall apart. Every bracha needs a makabel. That's what a bracha is about. Like the Gemara says, right, but Mitzvah, that the house is mizbarach because of the wife. Right, remember? Right, the house is mizbarach because of a wife. And the Maral explains whether you need a makabel and an isha is a makabel. A bracha requires a recipient. And over here it's even more, a continuity. Who's mamshich? If it stops in the middle, it's on hamshich. Okay, what we say. Okay, I just want to repeat again, we have a few minutes left. The bracha that the kasha that we had a few years ago, let's just go over it again. Did Avraham Avinu know about Rivka from the moment she was born? Yes or no?
Yeah.
What's your raya?
End of the year, I think.
Very good. What's it say at the end of Vayera? Give a look at the end of Vayera. Achar Dvarim Anu. Rashi says, Perek Bet Pasuk Chaf. What does it say? אם היה בני שחוט כבר היה הולך בלא בנים, היה לו להסיע אישה מבנוס עונר אשכול וממרה, בישרו הקודש ברוך הוא שלא דרביק בבת זוגה. But here you could say maybe you got a fog information about a shidduch. But there's another Rashi that says even more than that.
How do you know he's being told that she had only just been born?
That's what Rashi says. Bisu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shalom David.
It doesn't necessarily mean that. It could,
Okay, good.
at that moment,
Okay, good. You could say that. Let me show another Rashi. And the second pasuk in Parshas told us. What would you say? Vayitzrak ben 40 shana bekachto es Rivka. Right? Says Rashi, ben 40 shana. שהרי כשבא אברהם מהר מוריה נתבשר שנולדה רבקה. ויצחק היה בן ל"ז שנה. שהרי בו בפרק מסר שרה. ומשנת יצחק אלוקי ידע שבט ישראל ל"ז שנה. ובת 90 כשנולד יצחק, 30 שנה ובו בפרק נולדה רבקה, המתין לו עד שתראו ליבי הגימל שונים ונשאה. You can't be clearer than that.
he said, not everyone holds that Rashi.
Right?
Not everyone holds that Rashi. They don't all say that she was.
Okay, but that's Rashi said. Okay, Tosfos argues. But Shita of Chazal. Right? Rashi l'shitase. Rashi clearly in the beginning of Toldus says, when you tell a 37-year-old man wait for 3 years, it's a statement. It's not so pasha. Why? We have to wait for Rivka to be the minimal age. And in those days, the minimal age was 3. Sounds funny, but that's what it was. He knew about her from the moment that she was born. He waited 3 years. And only when Yitzchak came from that kid at the age of 37, he waited 3 long years to wait till she's available. Fine. And yet, when he sends Eliezer to his mission, he doesn't give a clue who she is. If you look carefully, he didn't even mention Mishpachti. Eliezer says again and again, Mishpachti, Mishpachti, Mishpachti. What? Okay, but my issue is, why do you send someone on a mission when you have the information? That's my question. I'm not speaking, how come names are not mentioned? I'm coming to add, you knew about him. You're waiting for her. Everything's tailor-made for her. You're waiting 3 years till she'll be the age of 3. Zog epis. Say something to Eliezer. Laida, comes this week's Pasha, Nebuch, and Eliezer has to do a Pasha Mulat. Look what he says. He stands, and Chazal condemn him. The Gemara Tanis. He stood on the spring of the town, and he says, "The one that will give me water shall be it." Why will she be? Give a look. Ota ochachta, right? Right. Pasuk Yudal. Ota ruya lo shetiye gomet chasadim ukedai lekenes beto shel Abba. I'm going to do her a test on chesed. That's what I'm going to do. If she does chesed, that means she's suitable for Avraham Avinu's house because it was a house of chesed. And Pasuk Yudal. Fine. You're not going to have to do this Rosh Hashanah? Chazal saying, what would have been if someone Chigeris or Iveris would have come out? The Gemara says, Shlosha Shalush Lo Kohegim, Shleim Alon. Right, that's not Gemara. But Nebuch, I'll tell you the truth, I understand Eliezer a little bit. He had zero information. And Avraham Avinu, you know that it's her. So why'd you tell him? Now you may say, love. It has to be done spontaneously, through love and affection. First of all, I don't know if you send the Eved if it's so lovey-dovey, right? But let's compare it where it said the way Yitzchak sent Yaakov. Just again, we said before because I'm wrong. And Perek Kaf Ches. Go please, let's look a second at Perek Kaf Ches. Look at Pasuk Beis. Perek Kaf Ches Pasuk Beis. Look how he tells them to go. Like Pasuk Av Yikra Yitzchak El Yaakov, Lo Tikach Isha B'nes Canaan. Kum Lech Padena Aram. Beisa Besuel, your maternal grandfather, Avi Imecha. V'kach Lecha Misha Misha, Mibnot Lavan, Achi Imecha. Could you be more specific than that? He gave him the zip code, the phone number, the WhatsApp, the text, everything. He didn't say love, love, love. He told him exactly where to go. Go to your grandfather's house. There's an uncle there that has daughters. Take one. Could you be more specific than that? Rabbi Yonah said, were you so specific like that with your children? No, I wasn't either. What do we know? When it was a shidduch, okay, here's it. I don't know. That's what he did. So Yitzchak tells Yaakov bidiyuk where to go. Avram, who has earlier information, which Yitzchak might not have had, and there's no place that says he had Ruach HaKodesh, and he said, just go. Mashiyeh. He waited 3 years, till she'll be 3 years old. Everything's planned accordingly. But when it comes, push comes to shove to tell Eliezer, go, Eliezer go nicht. How do you understand that? Come on. No, that's an halacha. That's an halacha. He could have, I'm not saying you should take her blindly. Avram said, I have a nevuah. Go check out if she's suitable. When you were looking for shidduchim for your children, did you stand in the public square and just say, whoever comes, it will be the one? Yes, yakasha shelo. So what? Right?
You don't know exactly what Hashem told Avram on the way back from the Alkedah.
It's a dog on that tree. He waited 3 years. He knows she's 3. Okay, so say she's 3. No, okay, so he should. He should have told Eliezer she's 3 years old.
So why didn't you tell
You may
him
not have known about it specifically.
So say she's 3. Yitzchak, say she's 3. I don't know. It's a 3-year-old girl. That I do know. Because he waited 3 years.
Doesn't necessarily mean he waited 3 years.
It says
That's how
himtila.
That's how a Kodesh Baruch Hu arranged it.
Himtila. Why should I squeeze myself like this? Himtila shalosh shanim. That's what it says.
It answers the question.
I can't remove the words of Rashi. Himtila. What does those words mean? He waited for her. 3 years.
Why didn't he tell Eliezer that my son has a Beshet, daughter of 3, waiting for her? And
That's my question.
Instead of saying about the person.
That's my question. That's all part of my question. Rabbi say, he asked this question on the Shabbos table, because usually when he asks it to people, they say, oh, it's a good kasha. You remember we spoke about this once? Baruch, you remember? You remember the answer? Okay, maybe let me see it in the English accent. Do you remember the answer? Maybe I'll say answer, it'll ring a bell. Without the Rashi, I won't have a kasha. Without the Rashi, it's not fair. Without the Rashis, it's not fair because who said he knew? Maybe he had some kind of fog information, not clear enough, whatever. Fine, but of course, Rashi says.
Did he have to see what? It's like he had to see how she would turn out, so to get that chesed. It might be the button.
But why don't you say go to her house? Go to her house and check on her. You remember when I was a bocher? That's 40 years ago. You know how we did a test of chesed? I'll tell you how we did a test of chesed. With the car. Today we have this thing. So it's all with them. You bring her into the car. And will she reach out and open the button for the other car for you to come in, the other door to come in? She's about to chesed. But if she just stays in her place and you got to go around, in England you go around this way, and in America you go around that way, and she doesn't stretch out to open that button, she failed the chesed test. It was known. Once it got known, obviously it lost its effect. So every girl immediately put in the car, right? Now you do a test of chesed. You ask people. Well, how's her chesed? You do it. But klum, nothing. And Eliezer has to stand in the public spring and do a Russian roulette. Zamashkara. How do you understand his shtika? Especially when you compare it to Yitzchak. Like, what a difference. When Yitzchak told Yaakov to go exactly to the same location. It's not trying to be clear. Look at that contrast between Avraham and Yitzchak. And Kavachorma, when you're sending a Eved, I would think you have to be more clear than when you're sending Yaakov. Eved maybe is not in the Madrig of Yaakov. Okay, Rabbi says, so all that and more, in Mitzvah Hashem. Are we going to have a minyan? Oh, we'll go downstairs. What? Yeah. I think I have it. Next year. Not a great answer, to be honest. Not great. Okay. No. You work it out on the show.